Hello friends and everyone, you're welcome back again to Netcode-Hub channel. This video we are going to cover up the last part of pop-ups in .NET Maui. I've covered the default one, that is using display alert, display action sheets, and also display prompt async. And I've also done a video on using the toast and on the snack bar. Now the last one left here, it is how to display pop-ups using community toolkit.maui NuGet package. Now, one advantage of this is you can decide to turn a whole content page into a pop-up. So let's create a project, .NET Maui app, and I have created one already. Aside from that, we have to install some NuGet packages, and the first one that we're going to install is the community toolkit.maui. And aside from that, we're going to install community toolkit.mvvm. So you want to use the model view vmode architecture for this lesson. So that's why you need to download these two packages. So right click on dependencies, and as you can see from mine, I have the community toolkit.maui. That is what we need most, and also the community toolkit.mvvm. That is what we are going to use. So install these two packages. You can right click on dependencies and then go to manage NuGet packages. You pass them to the browse tab and then you install them quietly. Okay, so let's assume you are done installing. What we need to do here is, with the MVVM, you do not have to initialize it in the Maui program.cs file. But for the Maui community toolkit.maui, you have to initialize it. So how do you initialize it? Let's click on Maui program.cs file, and in here we have to initialize it. So .use, and we can go for Maui community toolkit. So we need to add this. Now the next thing that we have to do is, after adding this, we have to create a page. So let's create a content page for this. So right click on the project. Let's add a new item, and now this is going to be .NET Maui content page. And now here, let's name this as a pop-up page. Now, we are going to convert this into a pop-up, so we have to change the type of content page and also its related modules in it. So let's see how to work on that. Now, the first thing to do is, let's add our namespace. So we want to take off this title. Let's add our namespace. So let's say this is toolkit. And now we have to add HTTP and schema. So let's search for that. If it is here, 2022.maui, so we have it here, .maui.toolkit. So this is what we need to add as namespace. So aside from doing this, the next thing that we can do is, let's turn this to toolkit. Then we have our pop-up specified to. Now the next thing that we can do is, we have the same thing. We have this vertical stack layout. You can just grab this and we put this in a frame. So maybe you can paste this here. So we have a frame, we have vertical stack layout, and we have this button or label in it. Okay. Now what you have to do again after doing this is, we have to go to the pop-up page, that is the popup.xml.cs, and now instead of inheriting from content page, it's now going to inherit from pop-up page. So pop-up. Now let's initialize it. So we have to have a button, so we click on to display this pop-up. So let's go to, after saving this, let's go to main page. And now here, this button, we want to do that. So before that, let's create a view model to this page or this application. So click on add, then we add a class as a view model. So this is related to, it is for this main page. So we say main page view model. Since we have installed MVVM, we can use the class here. So observable objects. So observable object, and let's have a button. So public is in task. So let's say show pop-up. And now with this, let's create so pop-up. So we say var pop-up is equal to new. Now the name of this is pop-up page. So pop-up page. Then we're going to say shell dot current dot. So here you can see we have current and we have page, or we have current page dot show pop-up. So we have this show pop-up. And now here we pass in the pop-up. So you pass in this. Now let's save this. So let's use an await here. Okay, so let's say, so this is void. So let's take off this await. So let's take off the await, and now here, let's make it void. And let's see, we can take off the async. Now this, let's bind this main page view model to the main page. So we come to the main page over here and let's bind it. So binding context is equal to, aside from this, we have to register this main page. So let's copy this and let's go to the Maui program.cs. So builder.services.add singleton. Then we can pass in this view model. Also, let's register the page. So that is the main page. We register that too. Okay. Now aside from this, let's go to the main page view model. And now here must be public partial class. Okay, so once you are done, let's go to the main page itself. And now let's bind the view model. So we are going to use, and we're going to say that this is, let's say local or view model. Namespace. Then we're going to use demo. So let's specify the data type. And we say view model. And now we can go in for main page view model. So we have main page view model over here. Now this button we can now bind to it. So let's say this is command. Okay, so command, and we're going to bind it. And what is the name of? Let's see, the main page view model. You see, we have to pass in a relay command. So relay command, then we can grab that command over here in the main page. So we can have show pop-up command. Now let's save this and run this application. So this page is now open. Rather, it is not displayed toad, but rather it's going to be pop-up. So display pop-up. Now when you click on it, you can see we have welcome to .NET Maui. So we see this is the pop-up, and here we can decide to style it the way that we want. Okay, so let's try that and see. So when you go to the pop-up page, we have this frame, and maybe you can have border color, maybe red. You can have image in here. So let's see if we can go to resources, and we have images. Let's drag and drop this here. So we have this image. So let's save this, and now let's refresh it and see what we have now. So you can see now we have display pop-up. Let's refresh the page. So now let's click on the button and see. So I click on the display pop-up, and I can see we have the image display with the content here, with the border also indicated red as specified in the code. So that is a way to display the pop-up. But this time around, we want to do something else. How can you pass data from view model to this? So let's say if I click on the button, I want to pass data from a view model to this. Is it possible? We're going to have a look. But first of all, let's talk about this too. Now, you know, if I click on this backdrop, the pop-up disappears. If I want to stop that, what can I do? You come to this, and here you can specify all the properties over here. The first one is you can talk about a vertical height option. So either center, default it is in the center page, as you can see from here. It is in the center page. Now, if I decide to set this to, let's click on this button. So you can see it's in the center page. Then if I decide to change this, so let's say end, it's going to move to the end when we refresh the page. And also we can talk about the next one. So let's put this to center. Also, you can talk about the horizontal one. So you can also set the horizontal version from this. Either should be the start or the center or the end. You can do that. Now, the next one too that I want to talk about is, you see that if I click on this page, the background or the backdrop, you can see the pop-up disappears. If I want to stop that, can I make it? Yes. You can do that by using this. Can dismiss by tapping outside of pop-up. If I set this to false, let's see. Refresh this. So I'll click on the display pop-up. Now I click backdrop and nothing happens. So in this case, you have to have a button so that I can click on this button to close it. So let's add a button here. And this button, maybe I will say that the text is close. So let's give it a name because we are going to close it. So we're not going to perform any function. So let's close this. And we say btn close. Now let's have a click event. So we generate a click event here, and let's go to your pop-up page. Now you have it here. So we can just type in this.close. Now let's refresh this and see what we have. So let's click on display pop-up. Now it displays, and click on close and it closes. So here, click on the backdrop, nothing happens unless you click on this close. Let's have another button over there, and this time around, you're going to have auto close. Or when you click on this button, you want to perform different things altogether. So let's go to the pop-up page here, and let's add another button here as. So we add a button, and we say text is, let's say hi. So now you can see we have this view model bound to this pop-up page. So in here, maybe we can decide to pass it here. So that is the main page view model, and let's bind to the context. So binding context is equal to main page view model. So let's register this in program.maui.program. So you can just grab this. We have this already, so I know this is, let's try to add this pop-up page. Okay. Now let's go to this program here where we have this Maui. Now in here we have to specify this. So maybe we can decide to create new main page. Now the next thing that we're going to do here is let's pass in. So this is public async void, or let's say this is public void. Yeah, let's make it async void. Now let's give it a name as say something. So we can say await shell dot current dot display alert. So you can say saying hi. You have OK button. So let's put a relay command. So this command, let's go to the pop-up page. Now this button, let's pass in command, and you can go for binding, and let's see if we're going to have. So we have the main page view model added to this. So let's close this first. And here, let's see, so say something. Now let's run this application and see what we have now. So I'll click on display pop-up, and I'll say hi. I click on this, and I can see I have saying hi to you. So aside from that, if I click on anywhere it doesn't go, click on say hi, I can say hi, and as soon as I click on close, it closes. Okay, but what if in case you want to do this, as soon as I click on this pop-up, it waits for some time, then it closes itself. Can we do that? Yes, we can. So let's see what we can do about that. Now in here, where we have this page, our main model. So in here, we can start a new task. Then when the task is done, we can just close it. So in our command page, whereby that's a view model, that is where we have our show pop-up. Now, after showing the pop-up, you want to check for some time. You want to start a new task and check. If the time is up, then we close the pop-up. So we can do that by saying await. Then we can start, so task factory. So dot start new task. Then this, we're gonna call this method. So we say that. Now let's close it. So thread dot sleep, and you're going to use maybe 3 seconds. Then at the end, we're going to say pop-up dot close. Now let's save this. So you're going to wait for 30 seconds, then you're going to close it. So let's click on this button, and as soon as you click on it, you're waiting for 3 seconds. It should automatically close. So you can see it has closed. So you open it. You can decide to click on this button to get it closed, or when you wait for some time, it's going to close by itself. So we can use try catch here to prevent this. It is saying dispose cannot access dispose object. So we can use a try catch here. If we don't want to have a close button here, we can wait for some time to get then it closes by itself. Okay. So maybe we can decide to clear this when we run it again. So we can use try catch here. So let's see, let's try. You can use try. then we can catch the exception. So we can do this. Let's refresh it. So let's click on the display button. Now display, so let's close this. And you can see it closes. Now there is no exception here again. Or we can just wait, it's going to close by itself. So I believe now you have the basics of how to use pop-ups in .NET MAUI. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm going to catch you up in the next video.